wretched but memorable occasion when the newest of the autumn bonnets were not put up for sale at Madame Dupont's millinery due to a sunken ship and its lost cargo of ostrich feathers. I cast aside the penny dreadful I'd been reading. Count Orlando's tales of darkness and depravity had always captivated me and made my heart flutter, in a very ladylike way, of course. Yet this one, the latest in a series of shocking stories about the Children of Aed, could neither hold my interest nor lighten my dismal mood. I rested my head against the back of my chair where I languished. I laid one arm across my forehead. I sighed. I confess I am somewhat of an expert when it comes to this particular form of expression. As a proper lady, I was schooled by my late mamma in the well-timed sigh. After long years of practice, I know how to employ the sound to convey longing and express yearning. I appreciate how, used efficiently and with just a modicum of emotion, it might hasten the end of a boring conversation or prolong a favoured suitor's goodbyes. I had never, though, felt it communicate so thoroughly the fact that I was totally, completely, and utterly bored. My exhalation of despair should certainly have plucked at the heartstrings of all who heard it, which, of course, explained why Violet, in the chair opposite mine, a book open in her hands, never flinched. But then I am convinced Violet doesn't have a heart. Being more charitable than she, I gave her another chance to display some sign of sisterly devotion. I sighed yet again. "Really, Sephora?" She glanced up from her reading only long enough to shoot a look at me that spoke both her impatience and her disinterest. "If you're going to distract me with your dramatics, perhaps you should go into another room." "And do what?" I sat up and flung out both my arms, the better to demonstrate the desolation that was my life. "How you can sit all day with your nose pressed in a book is beyond me, Violet. Especially when you're reading—" I leaned nearer for a better look at the book in her hands. "The Ideals of the Art of India? It is no wonder you never get bored. You live and breathe tedium." She closed the book and set it on her lap, and I knew from the way she pressed her lips together and lifted her chin that a lecture was forthcoming. It is actually quite fascinating. It takes a special look at the paintings inside the caves at Sitanavasul. Surely you remember the place? I have always considered visiting it one of the highlights of our time in India. Yes, I remembered the journey we'd made while Papa served with the Foreign Office. And doing so, I was forced to amend the thought that I'd never been as bored as I was that very day. There was, after all, Sitanavasul. Rather than remind Violet of what she should have already known, I sprang from my chair and paced to the fireplace, empty and cold on so mild an afternoon. From there, I made my way to the windows that overlooked the brown and tattered remnants of our summer garden. All the roses trimmed, all the hollyhocks bent by wind, little left but a smattering of baby's breath. But the tiny white flowers, too delicate to last much longer into the month, only served to remind me of the very long, very tedious days ahead until the social season started again. It was all too cruel, and I spun and made my way back to the fireplace. There, I turned to face my older half-sister. "Reading hardly takes the place of living," I told her. "I mean, really living. You should know as much. There was, after all, the matter of the murder we dealt with last summer. Admit it, you felt truly alive then. You felt energized, interviewing suspects, searching for clues, finally bringing the perpetrator to ground." Here, I was forced to swallow the sudden tight knot of emotion in my throat. But then I had my reasons, for I'd been involved in the matter in the most heartbreaking way. I did not need to point this out to Violet, so instead I said, "During the excitement, I know you felt your..."